Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video on my channel. I know I'm alive again. Feels kind of weird getting back into YouTube, but this time as an art tuber. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be going over all of the mistakes that I made at my first Artist Alley and Ultra Gaming Expo near my hometown. And as much as it pains me to say this, there was way too many mistakes that I had made, and I figured, since I made all these mistakes, I might as well kind of make a video about it and tell you guys what I did wrong. Nobody ever really wants to know their mistakes or admit their mistakes. That's the better term. Nobody really wants to admit their mistakes, and to be honest, I'm not really shameful. Like, I want to show you guys what I did wrong. I want you guys to know the embarrassing, horrible, terrifying moments that I made while my first time as an Artist Alley, because it's not like there's ever a first time vendor, right? So here are the mistakes that I did make. So one of them was that I did not display my business cards. Yeah, I know, this might not sound as a big deal as it sounds to a lot of people, but actually I had so many people asking for my business card and my social media that it was a little overwhelming. It took me a while to realize that I had my business cards. My only problem was I didn't put them out on time. So until like maybe after half of the convention was over, that's when I actually started putting more of my business cards in and actually showing people what they look like or what it was. And I also forgot to display a QR code that showed my social media, my business, and just like all my regular information. And while I was looking around, walking places, I kind of noticed that a lot of vendors had their social media on just a piece of paper, but they didn't have business cards. And personally for me, I love collecting business cards because I had saw another YouTuber who was named, I forgot at the time. She actually has a binder of different business cards from other artists that she's collected over the years as vendoring or just buying from online places. And I was like, wait, that's really cute. Like, I think that's a great idea. I definitely want to do that. So now I just started making my business cards a little bit more nicer, prettier, like just so people can have them. Yeah, so the second thing was lack of information on the booth. So this is similar to the first one, but in a sense of lack of organization, I didn't have a sign that had all my social media links, and especially because I use sometimes Twitter, Instagram, and I have the Etsy shop, so not displaying any of that kind of really ruined the image in a way. So that kind of sucked, and a lot of people did ask me, and I also forgot to put my business card inside every single bag purchase, which was dumb, but I did remember to put it every time when it was inside a print, because the prints were sold for already as is, so I just put it in. So organization is another thing that I messed up on. Believe you me when I say that I did not understand what the heck was going on with setting up. So as a regular congoer, it's easy to just walk around in certain areas, but as a vendor, we can go to certain restricted areas not meant for the public since we had priority. But what I'm talking about is how I just wish I was better prepared with knowing where to go and how to set up properly, because if you saw my Artist Alley vlog before this, then you would know I messed up on my table by facing the wrong way and was corrected by someone who nicely told me. This was very embarrassing because I actually had a couple of people looking at me and I was like, okay, why are they looking at me? But then there was another person that came late and they were setting up the same way, where it was like, well, no, because the table runner, which is the black part of the table that you can see, this was supposed to be facing the outside towards the people that are walking by. So they had it facing the other way too, but then they had noticed it and they corrected it. But as for me, that I didn't know, or because I was so nervous and it was my first time doing this, I did not know what to do, where to go, or how to set things up. So that was like one of my biggest faults, and I'll admit, it was pretty embarrassing. But, no, if you want to talk about embarrassing, this is incredibly embarrassing. Recording. Okay, believe it or not, this actually got the best of me. I was the only one from my side of the convention who was recording my setup and my booth. People were watching me, and I got embarrassed talking to the camera. Even when walking around to record with permission, people kept trying to get involved in the video or wanted to ask why I was recording. And this was really embarrassing because as a first time Artist Alley and as trying to be an art tuber, this was pretty embarrassing, and I did not like when people kept doing this. But my boyfriend kept telling me, it's okay, you're a YouTuber, this is what you're supposed to do. So joyously, he made me feel better, and I started recording more. But on that note, don't let others ruin your fun, period. That's literally what it is. You do not want them to ruin your fun recording side. And if they try to get in your video, kind of just like advice, I guess a little advice I could say is if they're forcefully trying to get in your video, have them in there for like maybe a little bit, and you can always just crop that out, because you know, this is like something we're trying to do for a living, kind of like something we're supposed to do. You could easily just take them out of the picture. It's totally fine. They're not going to know. They probably won't even follow you on social media. They're probably just in it just because they think you're taking a regular recording, you know, not for social media, but just for recording. Which, you know, on all in all, it does get annoying. So, number 5, dealing with customers. This part is truly the most annoying part out of the whole experience, and I so wished it was recorded, but my camera had died. So these girls came up to my booth and were so excited to see my bracelets, which made me happy. But another customer came and purchased prints from me, and I overheard the girls blabbing, "Oh, $3. I bet I can make these myself and make more money than this." They're cute, but they're too expensive. Literally, nobody complained about these prices except the girls, and I was even told that my prices were too low for my bracelets. But just because it's a convention doesn't mean everything has to be expensive. Honestly, the girls kind of irritated me in a way, and I politely told them, well, go ahead, try and make them yourself and see how easy it is. Rest assured, the girls were shocked and walked away. Yeah, no, I lost the sale, but I didn't even think they were going to be buying anyway, because from their words and discussions, it was kind of like, no. And if there's anything I learned, it's not to look down on vendors. They literally put their heart, blood, soul, sweat, tears, and money into these products. It's not easy, which is why I don't like to shame other vendors or even people that are trying to just start out. It's just, it's not right. You know, as a community, we should all kind of just like try our best, get along, and support each other, just like these other vendors supported me. So another thing that I noticed was actually, this has been like 2 weeks later because I've been going through so much, I guess, stuff, personal life, you know, cat life, everything. But anyways, so number 6 would be my display. So it turns out your display actually matters, and as crazy as it sounds, your table decoration also matters. I had an open space concept which got so much attention, and it was even brought up to me by my customers how an open display felt really welcoming compared to vendors that had maybe just the one square that was like completely see-through. But other than that, it was kind of hard. So I decided to go check it out myself, and when I went to other vendors, I noticed that they had only like one square of open space and everything else around it was completely closed. So I myself couldn't even find the vendor, and I was confused. So it felt unwelcoming, and I didn't really know how they were getting along with their customers. But from what I was told by other customers that came to my booth, they appreciated me actually being open with them and sharing my space with them because it felt more homey in a way, which is really nice. So I did clarify it with a couple of the people, and then they seemed to have really enjoyed it. So it was kind of weird after hearing their comments, but I was pretty sure I made a good call on bringing no grids, because I was kind of torn between having a grid display and not having a grid display. But it turns out having a grid display is a lot harder than it seems. It's not just expensive, but it's actually hard because I need a specific way to set it up. Not to mention, there are actually certain rules at every con. So at this con, they couldn't be displayed more than, I believe, 3 or 4 feet from your table or something like that. If you had like a backdrop, that's totally fine. You can hang them from the backdrop, but your grids cannot be more than, I think it was like 2 or 3, 4 feet, because if they did, it's a possible hazard. So that was one of my reasons why I didn't want to do grids. But I think during the next convention, I might do maybe 2 grids or so, depending on how easy it is or depending on how much more merch I have, but we'll see how it goes. So number 7 is props. And speaking of props, I noticed right away that props are one of the hugest things to make or break a table. So what I'm talking about is, do you have flowers? Do you have banners? Do you have logos, merch, things that express your table? What's your color theme? Do you like blue? Do you like pink? Are you kind of like in the aesthetics of Kawaii Art Cafe? The aesthetics of maybe Lane Art Geek? Maybe there's like a whole bunch of them, but I can't remember. But you get my point. There's like a lot of different aesthetics that you can use in order to like reference, but I wouldn't say copy, just reference. And you can kind of slowly build build up there, which I would recommend. I know Bailey J also used to do conventions, and she had an open concept table. I've never really seen her use grids before, but everybody has their own different ways. And personally for me, my props would definitely be like more floral aesthetics with blue and white roses, because blue is my favorite color. And if you notice, my character actually has a light blue character hair, so I would say light blue is more to my color aesthetics. And since that's kind of like my aesthetic, I would say continue to use it to make sure that people understand, hey, if I see pastel blue color hair, that's definitely Alexa's stuff, So this one is a huge shocker to me. So number 8, food and drinks. So at the con, I had gotten stripes tacos, because always get striped tacos because they are cheap and affordable. So it turns out conventions restrict food intake. Not all of them, but this one definitely restricted us from taking food in. But surprisingly, I was able to sneak it in because I guess it was such a small type of convention. They didn't really care who was coming in, and they only cared whether we were signing in or signing up, something like that. But yeah, so apparently if you do get caught with food, you can get penalized for, I think, $60 or up to $100, which is horrible. Horrible. I was flabbergasted when I was like, okay. I even also brought a blue drink. So I had this Emirichu cup and I've been dying to use it. I had bought in a big blue at Stripes, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take it with me. So I took that with me, and I had a couple of, what are those called? Security guards, or yeah, some of those people, they have came by and looked at the boobs, but I didn't get anything. So they didn't tell me anything, and I appreciated that, because the food there was horrendous. Well, actually there was really no food. It was more like a boba stand for boba tea, which was $8 for like a medium cup, and there was no food. So that was kind of shitty. Really bad. Okay. Number 9 was phone privileges. I did good when it came to not using my phone. So these are just like extra tips. Don't use your phone because it causes a distraction. Customers will come walking by, and if you're on your phone, then you're clearly ignoring them as customers and not giving them the time or day of attention they need. You lose sales and communication between customer and seller. I also put this as a rule on me and my boyfriend and asked him to not use his phone too often. We do talk a bit, but whenever someone comes nearby, we still say hello. Even if they don't come by our booth, we still like to wave at people. And since I have an open concept, you can definitely like see me. So I just like to wave hi. Even if it's not like me saying hello, me waving seems to actually make people smile or they like it. Not everyone will take to it, especially I notice like older gentlemen, men, they don't seem to be, like the father figures, I guess, like 50-year-olds, whatever. They're like, okay, sure, whatever. But they seem to appreciate it. So to me, this is the biggest rule of an Artist Alley vendor. So number 9 was an extra. Number 10 is a must definite extra. So if nobody's told you, or you probably heard it from other people, this is like, I guess, the golden rule for being an Artist Alley. Make friends with other vendors. Yes, I'm pretty sure this is obvious. I am pretty sure you're gonna understand that there's a huge reason why it's obvious. Because if you make friends with other vendors, you can end up being in a group chat. You can end up being on the Facebook page, maybe Instagram, maybe social media, whatever it is. You would be able to get in line into conventions that may have already been sold out, and you wouldn't have to wait list because you already know people that can let you in. Or sometimes if you aren't in and you're on the wait list and one of the other vendors can't make it, sometimes they're nice enough to reach out to you and say, hey, were you on the wait list? Because I'm unable to go, so I can ask them to swap out or whatever. So, you know, which is good, which is really great. I meant to say good, but I said great. And then I said good. So while I'm not judging the decisions on their alley adventures, it does buffer me that some aren't as friendly. And I'm not gonna lie, sadly, I did meet a lot of vendors that didn't want to be communicative with me, and some were just extremely nice. And it was amazing. I highly appreciated the help, and now we follow each other on Instagram and social medias, and we keep updates on all of the South Texas Comic Cons, or, you know, from where I'm at, we keep up to date with all the stuff here. So I did actually have a couple of vendors help me when it come to like certain situations, but in return, I helped out other vendors when it came to like propping up their displays. So my thing is, I kind of just want to help out the community as much as I can, since some of them were nice to me. They might not all want help, or they might not want the day of attention, but you know, it is what it is. And honestly, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good to help out others. But yeah, no, those are all the Artist Alley tips I can provide for you. I'm sorry this seemed kind of short, or it didn't seem that good at all. But if I'm gonna be honest, I hope it was at least enough to get you started, or maybe help you out just a little bit. But yeah, no, my Artist Alley was kind of interesting. I didn't expect it to go that good, honestly. So I'm pretty happy about it. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry it took a while, probably weeks, but, you know, let me know what your favorite things are from Artist Alleys, or even just going to conventions. Is there someone you wanted to meet? Is there something you wanted to see? You never know. But yeah, how were your experiences? Did you get to meet a lot of nice vendors? Were there any mean vendors? You know, things like that. So, alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. It would really help me out a lot, especially because I'm trying to transition into art tubing more. It's hard, trust me, it's really hard. But I do plan on making a video about it, so, you know, stick around if you can. Okay, bye!